to make it wet. Say hot tub, rubber dub in the hot tub, rubber dub with me. Shall I get the hot tub?
Yeah.
Will it make me sweat?
Yeah.
Shall I get the hot tub?
Yeah.
Will it make me wet? Yeah.
Well. Good morning. Welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Steve Moss is our special guest today. Steve, how you doing, buddy?
Great. Good morning, Coach.
Our school board, are you chairman this year?
Yes, sir.
School board chairman, and of course on Friday, Jason Kovaleski. Hey, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
Let's talk real quick. Max Fit Sports Nutrition. What's going on? Oh, Tommy and I had a great talk yesterday after the show. Jeremy Pridge and Tommy Santamont, we had a great time, and we said, man, that stuff that we got from Max Fit, they said, I'm sleeping the best I've ever slept. I said, yeah, I think our hearts are stopping during the rest. I don't know, but tell everybody again the name of it.
It's called Somatomax. So it's got like GABA, it's got like mucoparins, which is kind of a relaxer. It's been used by the Chinese for centuries to help with like mood, relaxation. Helps with REM sleep. So that's why you're getting a better sleep while you feel rested.
I didn't take it last night.
Yeah, well, you probably can feel a difference when you do and you don't. Because when you achieve REM sleep, you repair nerve endings, brain cells. That's why when you wake up, you feel alert, you feel rested. So if you don't achieve REM sleep, if you're that guy that gets up every 2 hours and kind of wrestles around in bed, then that's probably not a good quality sleep. But that's what it's doing. It's not something that knocks you out. It's not a sleep aid per se. It's something that helps you achieve REM sleep. It helps recovery and brain.
And you gotta adjust the
dose.
Amount you take.
Yeah.
If you take too much,
that's the key. You don't want to wake up groggy. The whole point is to wake up rested and feeling good. So I always say start with a half scoop and then go from there.
I'm telling you, as you get older, you're going to find out it's harder to get that good sleep.
Then you come in and get a free sample at Maxville. We don't really try to sell anything before you can try it out. We don't want anybody buying something they're not going to use. So just come down, grab a free sample. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then no harm, no foul.
And another thing, it's hard to sleep. You saw what was going on yesterday in Tallahassee.
It's terrible.
It was absolutely, I don't know all the details yet. We had
Will we ever?
Brother-in-law came in, so I didn't watch the news, the late news and everything like that. But was 6 people shot, Steve? 6?
I think more than that. I think 5 dead.
And there's some of the videos coming out now from a lot of cell phone video from students that were there on campus. And so, of course, everybody has cell phones now.
Right.
And so a lot of the videos now coming out or this morning and late last night of the actual shooters walking through campus.
What's the latest? What do you know?
I don't know much more than he's probably seen more today, but what I've seen was some
shot? How many?
Probably close to 9 or 10 and 5 dead at least. And that could have been one of the shooters. I know at least 4 of the students died.
Yep.
Wow.
And I tell you, kind of bringing that back home, we sent a kind of an iris alert out to all of our parents just to kind of say, listen, we understand this is concerning. FSU is, we have a campus here locally in DC, obviously the one in Tallahassee, and we have so many local kiddos here that are going to school there in Tallahassee. So it really affects our community, even though technically we're 2 hours away. But parents here we're on edge, as you can imagine, listening and trying to hear back from their students. But we sent out irises to our Bay County parents just to say, listen, we understand how important school safety is, even in high school and in elementary school. And so make sure you talk to your kids how important this is.
Can you imagine, and I'm going to get to Bay District Schools in a minute, but can you imagine a campus like Florida State? They're so big, so many students, and trying to control that. And now I've been out for a long time. I remember we used to have drills and they had a plan. Maybe you could share some of that. I don't know if you can or not, but we do have a plan in place, and our schools are probably safer. They're smaller. We got most of them are fenced in, but anything can happen. But we've probably got the best safety system out there. If you want to share what kind of things you can.
I can tell you Parkland changed everything. The big school shooting down in Parkland in Central Florida, South Florida, it changed everything. Matter of fact, the state legislature came out that said, listen, you will have an armed guard, deputy, call them what they want on every single campus. And so now not only in Bay District schools, but in every campus, all 67 counties in Florida, there is an armed personnel, whether it's a county sheriff from a municipality. And then they also started a program called the Guardian Program, where now school board employees, they go through a very rigorous training, can carry concealed as well. And so now there's more armed folks on our campuses, not only here in Bay County, but throughout the state than there's ever been. And a lot of that happened because of the shooting shooting down in Parkland. The only person with a weapon on campus was the bad guy for many, many years, because it was a gun-free zone, and the bad guy, I think, knew that he or she were going to be the only ones on campus with a gun. And so now, post-Parkland, Florida, probably more than any state in the union, now allows for concealed carry with, again, the Guardian program. They have to go through a lot of training to do that.
And we actually have teachers now?
Sure, every county does. But again, every school, if they don't have guardians, they at least have a municipality or a county sheriff armed and on campus, and that wasn't the case before Parkland.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the problem is when you're at school, the last thing you think about is somebody gunning people down, and then you hear these gunshots and chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why we always hear this. There's 3-4 shooters, and you find out maybe there's only 1 or 2, because when you hear gunshots from all different directions, people running in all different directions, it's just total chaos, and you have no idea what's going on. So that's the last thing you would be thinking about. Just a terrible situation. I've seen some of the cell phone videos of people just walking by, filming some of the people on the ground, and just totally strange, totally out of character. It's just similar to what's happened in Bay County with spring break, though. I mean, it's just a different world we're living in right now. It's just chaos. There's no accountability. I think one of the guys was actually a son of the deputy up in Leon County, so just a really, really sad situation. But it hits home when it's so close to you.
Was the dad a deputy or the mother?
I'm not sure.
I believe it was the dad, but I'm not sure.
No, it was the mother. The mother was the deputy sheriff.
Okay.
And the weapon that he used was they changed the weapon of choice for the police department. She was allowed and chose to purchase her old revolver, her old service weapon, and that's the weapon that the guy got a hold of.
Didn't he have a shotgun first and then pulled out the pistol?
Had a shotgun with him, yes.
And when there are multiple shooters?
Now that I haven't heard, no.
Okay, that's the first report I saw.
It was just
2.
him.
One died, one was alive.
Well, that's just it about the news trying to get everything out there fast.
What do you know about that, Steve?
Sometimes I think the news tries to get the news out fast and maybe not as accurate as it could be.
I mean, I've worked in the newsroom. I know what that's like at a television station in Cincinnati and in Texas. I know the chaos that happens once those police scanners, which we used back in the 90s, the police scanner goes off. You try to round up a reporter. You try to round up a vehicle. You try to round up a cameraman. You tell one of the anchors the story's going to come in. You're going to have to read it off the teleprompter. It is chaos.
Yeah.
So
hard to get right. No, and I think a shooting like this would have been big news, even if it happened in Michigan or Wisconsin or California. But when it happens in Tallahassee, and again, we have an FSU campus, as you know, right here in Bay County, it really hits home. And again, there's so many students, hundreds easily, that are from Bay County that attend Florida State, that Tallahassee campus.
And he had some kind of mental issue earlier, maybe 5 years ago during a divorce, or I don't know. I don't know all the details, but
I've seen a lot of different theories I don't want to go into because they're political, basically. So
yeah, well. And then you got everybody, the guns that are problem. Hell, we have them run over people in parades. You're gonna take away the cars, and then we had a track meet. A guy got stabbed in the heart at a track meet. On both separate teams at a track meet.
The problem is the bad guy's not going to give up his guns because it says gun-free zone here. He's like, okay, well, we're not going to come in here and shoot anybody
Two
now.
politicians attacked by guys with Molotov cocktails and hammers.
Yeah.
But Nancy Pelosi's husband and then this Pennsylvania senator just...
sorry.
When England banned guns, I think knife attacks went up like 3,000% or something. So they're going to, if you're a bad person, they're going to find a way to hurt people. It's just the way it is.
And they canceled in which you knew they canceled all sporting events until, I guess, further noticed.
Leon County, you're right. For a long time, unfortunately, schools have been soft zones, so to speak, gun-free zones. And so, as Jason said, the only person on campus for a long time was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And there was no good guy, so to speak, on campus. And, I can tell you for this much, back in 2010, I was on the school board, and a bad guy came in and held us hostage and shot the place up. The only person left that to defend us was a good guy with a gun. And if the good guy, Mike Jones, was not in the room,
I remember that.
I don't know if I'd be here talking to you, Coach.
Yeah, I remember
there was a
that.
bullet hole to the right of my desk, a bullet hole to the left of my desk.
Wow.
And we were sitting ducks because, again, it's a gun-free zone.
How did that's back before we had the metal detectors and all that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can tell you it's a very helpless feeling when you're there and the only person in the room with a weapon is the bad guy.
There's nothing you can do.
No.
And when you're out in the open like that, there's no metal detectors. This was out in
Right,
the open, like a school zone area where
What did
people
you get out of his truck and just start?
Basically, I guess. Sounds like it. I mean, sounds like there's some conflicting reports on a couple things because I read some stuff last night that obviously has been changed and the story's different today. So I'm going to keep my
Shame we
mouth
got
shut
to
on
talk
this one.
about this on Good Friday.
Yeah.
Days.
True.
Well,
But how many of us go to Tallahassee for football games? I've been to one in the last 2 years. That could have been any of us, So it's really close to home there.
yeah. Thank God that hadn't. Well, you probably just gave somebody an idea.
Nah.
Don't say that. I'm just kidding. Now, anyway, but get on a positive note. We had some good things happen here. We've got 2 out of 4 years we won a district championship in baseball. We talk about that. We won that last night.
Yeah, it's unprecedented for Arnold. They've won 14 out of the last 15 games, and so Arnold High School won only the second district title in school history. The school's been open 25 years. Arnold High School has. Last night was only the second district title ever in school history.
Yeah, I think 2 in 4 years.
2 in 4 years.
Wow.
So this class of 2025, they won one their freshman year, and now they've won one their senior year.
And they're still going.
They are, and actually it's been unprecedented for Bay County. For the first time ever, 3 teams in Bay County have won district titles, not only Arnold that I just mentioned, but of course Bozeman did, and Bay High did as well. And Mosley was only 1 out away from winning a district title. I'm sorry, 1 run away from winning. So we'd almost had 4, but
and
it was 3.
Weren't they over in Tallahassee?
They played Lincoln. I don't know. I can't remember honestly if they were here home or if they were playing.
I think they
in
were
Lincoln.
over there.
I think Lincoln was the higher seed, so I think they probably traveled.
Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeff, we got Coach Patton come on here in just a few minutes again. He just wins another one. At first, he did make history though. It's the first time Bozeman's ever won a district championship in 2A. In 2A.
It's the first year they're in it.
Yeah, the first year they're
And
in
they
it.
played a tough Pensacola Catholic team.
They were hot.
All-star team. Pensacola All-star team. But that's what we're known for, baseball. We're the best baseball county. I really and truly believe that in the state of Florida.
There's a lot of good baseball here. Not only in Bay County, Cottondale won a district title. Niceville won a district title. South Walton won a district title. So not only here in Bay County are there 3 teams that won district titles, but even some of our surrounding counties, the Panhandle, I'm telling you, has the best baseball we've had in years.
And the thing about it, when you take over a program, a coach trying to build one, good luck. I mean, I don't care who you play. It's hard to get a win.
But even that Bay High Rutherford game, talking about,
Coffin's done a great job.
I mean, 1-0.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 1 run away from winning a district title themselves. So even the teams that, have been building and trying to build over the years are playing really good baseball right now. So congratulations to Rutherford on their season as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of our great people. We'll get back. We have Coach Patton on. We got a lot of things for you today. Jess Pig will be on from 8 to 8:30. Alabama, Auburn. We got Steve Moss with us right now. You may do this commercials. You want to do that first?
Well, sure. You go right ahead and do your thing. And then I just wanted to make note that today is the last day to get registered to win the Talladega Racing Passes. And we'll give you the code in just a moment.
All right. Get out to Beef Brady's in Lynn Haven. Pat Purno, City Commissioner over there, does an incredible job. Great food, great atmosphere, TVs everywhere. Go watch all the college baseball games that are going on. A lot of people are playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Everybody's going to be off for Easter, it seems like. So get out to Beef Brady's, have a great meal, have a great time. Tell Pat, Coach sent you, and we said hello. When you're over that way, we need to go get a gift. If your son has done something special in baseball in Bay County, just won another district championship, maybe you as the father might want to go to David Adams and get some type of necklace or something with design something.
With
You could probably buy Dad something by now.
Or his wife just got promoted. Maybe somebody, maybe Steve could go over there.
Look at all these great ideas you're giving people.
I hope they're giving out loans here, too.
write it down on a piece of paper, scribble it out, take it to David Adamson Designer Jewelry and say, design me a necklace or a ring or a bracelet that has this logo on it or team or number or something like that on it. And they can produce that thing in gold or silver or 10-karat gold.
They're awesome.
Gold's going up like crazy. If you do it now, it's going to be worth triple its value.
If you got old stuff, they'll clean it up.
They'll clean it up. Yeah. They'll purchase it.
Love Russ, Amber, good people. And also, every Wednesday, 7:30, the Gator himself, Dr. Ward, the guy is unbelievable. And they got office throughout the Panhandle of Florida. If it doesn't look right, feel right, don't put it off. 5 minutes can save your life. Women out there, 2 things you really got to pay attention to. Your skin, breast cancer, skin cancer is 1 thing. 2 things they've really got to pay attention to. Check yourself. But if your skin doesn't look right, feel right, and stay out of the tanning beds, go see Dr. Ward. All right, go ahead, Wildcat.
All right, here we go. Today is the last day for you to take a shot at winning 2 tickets to the Jack Links 500 in Talladega, April 27th. And all you need to do is text this code word to 850-215-6290. It's 215-6290. Listen to the Inside Drive. Listen to the Afternoon Underdogs. They call your name. You call in as quickly as you can. That gives you qualifying time. Quickest qualifying time wins. And the code word for today, the last one, is 500. The number 500, 5000. Text that into 215-6290 and become a winner to the Talladega Links 500 race on April 27th.
The Atlanta Braves baseball versus the Twins, 6:15, right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest. We'll be right back. Jeff Patton.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country.
A rainmaker ties the game. Chris Strider is back, and the Atlanta Braves are heating up.
And Ozzie hits one very hard to deep right. That's going to take flight and out of here.
Tonight, the Braves return to Truist Park to face the Minnesota Twins. Coverage coming up at 6. First pitch at 6:15 right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. Tonight, slight fog and clear skies with lows around 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a light breeze and a temperature near 79. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 78 and partly cloudy. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Hey guys, Mother's Day is coming up on May 11th, but Beach House Florist lets you hit the easy button now for major wow factor. Mom will light up when she sees a thoughtful and unique gift from Beach House Florist, like lovely floral arrangements and gift baskets curated with gourmet delights. Beach House Florist in Panama City Beach, minutes from 38. Show Mom some love with Beach House Florist. Order at beachhouseflorist.com or call now, 850-249-5042. That's 850-249-5042.
He doesn't try on clothes at the department stores. He just rips stuff off the hanger and lives with the consequences for years.
It's classy, it's intriguing.
He's sexy, sassy, and full of spunk.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Bum, 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 bum. Welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Today, J. Michael's Restaurant, legendary restaurant, Chris Fisher special. Go check it out. You'll absolutely love it. The best seafood, the coldest beer, the legendary J. Michael's, and we are in the J. Michael's studios. Steve Moss is with us, school board chairman, Wildcat himself, and, of course, Jason Kovaleski. Let's bring him on right now. I think he just broke another record. I don't know if any coach in Bay County, any sport, has won as many championships as this young man. Hell, I think he's getting old now. He still looks good, though. He still is the Elvis of Bay County. There's no doubt about that. Bozeman 7, Catholic. Steve and I were talking off the air. They're like an all-star team. 6, Bozeman 22-4. They make history, the first time ever 2A district champs. What took you so long to win a 2A district champs, Coach?
Well, first of all, you definitely had the old part right. That's for sure. definitely old. And well, they decided to put us in there, so I guess we figured we'd win one. Actually, we won 3 2A district titles previously in 07, 09, and 2011, because we were 2A. The 1A rule didn't start until 2012. So a lot of people really don't know that. So but that's just kind of one of those things. We were 2A.
Yeah. Just go ahead and embarrass me. Don't worry about it.
Go ahead and correct me. He's always wrong.
Just set me straight.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good argument.
Anyway, we'll talk about the game. Who played? Man, hold on. Go back. We haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah.
Talk to how we got there. Who's been playing well? We want to hear a lot of these kids' names.
Yeah, we played Monday. We played Marianna on Monday, and they played really well. We were down 4-1 going in the 7th on Monday against Marianna, and we scored 4 in the bottom of the 7th. Their pitcher was throwing really well. We had some struggles, and then the 7th inning we got a couple hits, and you could just kind of feel the momentum going our way. And we got a big sacrifice fly from Zach Wiza. And Gage Hormilla, actually, he's one of our guys that runs for our pitcher and catcher a lot of times. He scored the winning run. So the guys at the bottom of the lineup really got it going for us a little bit there, the comeback on Monday. And then we went over to Catholic, and those guys are good and playing over there. And anybody who's ever played over there seen that over there. They started a kid that's going to Auburn, and then they brought in a kid that's going to Duke. And neither of those two guys made it out of the 3rd inning. So we were swinging the bats pretty good, being selective. But we were down 5-1 in that game. We had scored the first run. Zach Flickcraft led off with a leadoff homer. It was at Catholic, but we were actually the home team because we're the 1 seed. And he hit a leadoff homer for us. So we were up 1-0, and then we promptly gave up 5 in the top of the 2nd. We had a few defensive struggles, and then Catholic took advantage of some opportunities. And then I think in the 3rd inning we got it rolling a little bit. We scored 4 to tie it up in the 3rd. I actually was a little over aggressive and got a kid thrown out at home, which probably cost our team and our kids at least 1 run, maybe 2 or 3. Just those things happen. I'm going to continue to be aggressive. So we just kind of kept going, and we just kind of hung in there. Hayden Forrest came in relief, and he really held the ship for us. He held us steady for about 3 innings. He held those guys scoreless for about 3 innings. I think they might have got 1 run, but we ended up being down. We were down 6-5, in the top of the 7th, and Zach Flickcraft led off for us, and I think he walked or got hit by a pitch, and then we kind of got things rolling. Cass Zirkle got a hit, and then Lakota Johnson we got thrown out at 3rd on a play, and then Lakota Johnson got a big hit for us, made it 2nd and 3rd, and then we got another big hit and scored. And then Evan Wallace came up with the bases loaded, and they brought the infield in, and he hit a high chopper over the second baseman's head, and then it was time to celebrate. So, we threw 4 pitchers the other night. We threw Zach Flickcraft, and then we brought in Aiden Forrest. They have a couple of lefties, and we brought in Evan Wallace to get those lefties out, and then Lakota Johnson finished it up for us. So we feel like we're in a good place. Catholic is obviously really good. 22-4 is a good record. All 4 of our losses are to teams ranked in the top 40 in the entire state. Wow. We're pretty confident. We'll find out today whether we're the 2 or the 3 seed. So we'll definitely host next week, Monday and Tuesday. And we're in the toughest region by rankings in the entire state of Florida. So for us to be the 2 or the 3 seed in this region with all those Jacksonville private schools and some of the rest is a pretty impressive feat for these boys.
Coach, have you ever thought as a strategy maybe score a few runs early on and get the lead? Maybe give you a little more breathing room instead of waiting to the very last inning to pull it out? I mean, that's got to take a few years off your life.
Yeah, no, we don't really believe in that. We don't really care to make, as you well know, as many times as we've played against you guys, we we tend to not make things easy. But our guys are super resilient, and they the guts that they've showed here this season in some of these games. And Steve knows well. We played. Cooper threw against us twice, and we had two really spirited contests, and we won one and lost one. But these guys fight to the end, and I can't say enough about my guys. Just late in games, there's just this belief that comes over our guys in like the 5th and 6th. If it's close, that it's ours, and that's what I'm probably most proud of with this bunch.
How does it?
That's good.
How does it work that you're the number 1 seed and had to travel to Pensacola Catholic? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you can, when you have these district meetings, you can do satellite games, which is basically the high seed hosts. But for whatever reason, in our district, we still like to have like one team host the districts. I guess in this one we did in Catholic. I guess Catholic hadn't hosted in a while, and they wanted to, so we voted for them to host this year and us to host next year.
Okay.
We could have done a satellite in the first game, but both coaches have to agree, and both coaches didn't agree, so we went to Catholic. So
that's awesome.
How it shook loose.
People always ask me, how would you describe the Bozeman baseball team? And for years, I've told them the word I use is scrappy.
Yeah.
They are scrappy. They extend at bats. They don't chase at the plate. They have a plan in place. And so they just, and I think, Jeff, I really think that, that's part of your identity is that this scrappy team that doesn't give up to the very end. And again, they might be down 2 or 3 runs late in the game, and the other team's thinking they have all the momentum. But again, this scrappy Bozeman team, again, they just do the little things. They usually base run very well. They don't make a lot of errors. They extend at bats, and next thing you know, you look up and you go, good grief, they're walking it off. I thought we had them beat, but
celebrating on the field in front of us.
It seems like that is the identity. And my question would be, how does that help you going into the playoffs when you have players believe it doesn't matter what the score is? I don't care if it's the 6th or 7th and we're down by 3 or 4. Hey, we've been here before and we pulled it off before. How does that help you going into the playoffs? Got to be a big plus.
Yeah, I guess it's a belief, when you get down that, the game's not over. That's obviously something crucial. And I think that's something that we started years and years ago, just because when we first started this, we weren't quite as good talent, just physical baseball talent-wise as we are now, so we kind of had to play that way. And it's kind of kept itself going. And there's plenty of days where we get out there and we just get after somebody and our talent shines. But on those days where maybe we're struggling a little bit early, they, at least in the back of their minds, they know that we've done this before. We've played good people. And we feel like we can play with anybody. We don't think we're better than anybody, but we feel like we can play baseball as good as anybody does.
Hey, it always goes by quickly when you're on. Let me ask you this. This year, we've got 3 teams, right? Three teams going to district champions. Yeah. Is this maybe the best year we've had as a county?
Yeah, the fact that I think what Hudson's done, what John's done over at Bay to really get those guys back up again, and Pat's doing a good job with Rutherford. I think the fact that those guys at Bay and Rutherford are starting to raise the floor, where they had some struggles.
Yeah. Who was the county champ?
The floor. I guess Arnold probably was. Arnold was. We lost because we split with Arnold and we split with Mosley, and Arnold swept Mosley. So
okay.
And nobody, we swept Bay and Rutherford, and I think Arnold did too. So they would technically be the county champions, and that game that we played against Mosley, I guess kind of we could have had a tie, but we Mosley got us there at the end. But that's kind of where we are with that. But with those guys, Mosley's going to be in the playoffs. Arnold obviously won their district, and we did, and Bay. So it should be a fun week next week. I know we play Monday and Tuesday. We don't know who we're going to play yet, but I guess we find out today sometime around noon.
That's what Steve was saying.
It'll be exciting, yeah.
Now, at least you'll know for sure, Jeff. At least you'll host. You don't know who the opponent is, but you will host.
Yeah, we know we're in, and we know we're going to host. So that's
Arnold's going to host, right?
Yes.
Bay will host, right?
Yes.
It depends on where Bay's ranked.
This is true. Usually, to Jeff's point, usually that district champ does get to host, but sometimes the rankings get thrown in there as well.
Yeah, that's right, because I remember football last year. Yeah. Well, buddy, I appreciate you coming on. Golly, so we won't start pushing for money until the following week because you got a home game this week.
Yeah.
Arnold's home.
Well, the thing for us is going to be, if we have to go to Jacksonville at all, in this week, or if we advance the next, those could be some issues, especially if we have to play the Monday, Tuesday games in Jacksonville. That's going to be a spend the night trip. We're not going to drive over 4 hours, drive back, and then drive over 4 hours and drive back. We ain't doing that.
And that's the caveat.
We'll have to figure something out. And that's a position the state put us in. I mean, some of these other schools are going to have to do that for us. Yeah. We're going to play Monday and Tuesday. We're not playing a doubleheader, and if they want to have a complaint, they can send their email to the FHSAA. We petitioned to not be in 2A. Not that we were afraid of it, obviously. I mean, we're going to fix to be the 2 seed or 3 in the toughest region in the state. We weren't afraid of it, but we knew traveling to Pensacola and Jacksonville when we had a district right here in town. And then there's obviously South Walton's in there, but there's schools within an hour of us in 3A, and the schools are 4 hours from us in 2A. So, but that's what the state decided to do, and that's where we are. So, and if these schools want us to play a doubleheader, we're not. They're just going to have to come over and travel and deal with it just like we're going to have to.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I know we don't have too much time, Coach, but this is the first time ever in state history we'll now be playing 2 out of 3. It's a series. Yep. How does that change your coaching? And obviously, it used to be if you had one pitcher, you could ride that pitcher all the way to the state finals. Hey, now you have to have a staff.
Can you hold on a little bit, or you got to get to class?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm good. No class today, sir.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't mean to correct you again.
Right. I said that. I told Steve earlier. I said, that's right. They don't have school today.
Again's the key word there. Again.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about the local 115. Hey, if you're a head baseball coach, you're a coach. You go down there and get oysters, $15 for a dozen oysters. Their crab cakes are the best you get anywhere. The gumbo's incredible. The local 115. Vandergrift family, legendary family. Don was a coach, I think 35 years. Judy, all the great things she's done. Their boys are doing great things. Also, Kyle also owns the Vandy Roofing and General Contractor. They design, they build commercial real estate, residential. They do it all. But if you're going to get a roof, Vandy Roofing is where you want to go. Don't forget the local 115. Don't forget about Vandy Roofing. We're running late, so we'll stop. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest. Don't give me that look again.
ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country.
A rainmaker ties the game.
Chris Strider is back, and the Atlanta Braves are heating up.
And Ozzie hits one very hard to deep right. That's going to take flight and out of here.
Tonight, the Braves return to Truist Park to face the Minnesota Twins. Coverage coming up at 6. First pitch at 6:15 right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Beach Pizza, formerly Marcy's Pizza, is back with more hours and more pizza. Beach Pizza has new owners and now open every day 11 to 11. Pizza by the slice, whole pies, wings, pretzels, garlic knots, and more choice eats in East BCB. I finally tried a slice, and it was a thin crust, totes, cheesy slice of paradise. 8815 B Thomas Drive. Online at beachpizzapcb.com. Call ahead 850-775-4053.
PCB Hobby, the Beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Dreaming of your perfect Florida home? Whether you're buying or selling, I'm here to make it easy. I'm Terry Callahan with Anchor Realty Florida, and I've helped many folks from first-time home buyers to retirees find success in the Bay County real estate market. I'd love to find just the right home and neighborhood to match your family's needs. Let's make your dream home on the Florida Panhandle a reality. Call or text me, Terry Callahan, at 850-919-5025.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
Lots of force on this one. Hello, Chop House. A 2-run homer.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. On Good Friday, Steve Moss is with us, School Board Chairman, Wildcat, Jason Kovaleski, Max Fitzworth Nutrition, and our all-star coach who was good enough to stay on a little bit longer with us. Hey, Steve just asked you, I was going to ask you about that also. This is something new. Some coach is going to screw it up. Some coach is going to take advantage of something. It's going to come down to coaching, I believe, because there's going to be strategy behind
There's
this.
a lot of strategy. I mean, it used to be if it's a one-game winner-take-all, you throw your stud. You know, your aces out there on the mound. It's a no-brainer. Now, best 2 out of 3. Who do you start? How many pitches? Who do you bring in after them? It really does change the game from a coaching standpoint, I think. And you got to have a staff. You got to have 1 or 2 or at least 3, maybe more guys if you want to advance.
How do you know? It's hard to scout these teams in the playoffs. You know, you get on the phone, you try to get film or whatever. I don't know how they do it in baseball. But what this batter's a great, he can crush the ball, but he's not good against a curveball. How do you get this information? Because that's going to talk about that.
Yeah, you know, with the stats can paint a little bit of a picture, but not everything. But you know, you can always sometimes find one school or one team that doesn't really maybe care for the other team or the other school. So you can kind of look down the schedule, maybe find a rival or something like that. You know, or if you've got friends, if you've been doing this a long time, you've got friends or people you've met that may, you trust, and they may help you out. You know, we'll be able to find some information. You know, stats, you can tell a little bit from stats, but not always. You know, I'm just going to do the best I can. Sometimes, I'll be honest, over the years, you get one team that doesn't like another team, and their coach may just call you and give you what they have. You know, there's some of that. That absolutely happens. Wow. But we're going to do the best we can to try to figure that stuff out. You know, you can get on with Perfect Game websites, YouTube, and everybody's promoting themselves. So you can usually find video of guys, if they're good players, and things like that. So we're going to do some stuff like that, and to kind of talk to Steve's point, with the strategy. Yeah, if you've got a number one, like if you got a clear number one, I think you're going to have a decision whether you pitch them in game 1 or game 2. Is game 1 and getting that, trying to be 1-0, is that the most important thing? Or, game 2 where it could either be an elimination game or an advanced game, would you rather throw that guy in game 2? And then, with pitch counts, depending on how a game's going, and you got a guy in there and he's getting close to that number where maybe you couldn't bring him back the next day, would you let him go, and put your eggs in that basket? And then if it worked out or didn't work out, so yeah, there's definitely some strategy involved. But I like the 3-game. I think it's a better testament of who the better team is, and I, with us, we've got some guys that can pitch. We don't have that high end, upper high velocity guy, but we've got a bunch of guys that are around 80 miles an hour, give or take, that can throw curveballs. And if we can get to a game 3, I like our chances.
And you host all 3 games no matter what. So if it's tied 1-1, you host the 3rd game?
No. So whoever is the higher seed is going to host games 1 and game 2.
Okay.
And then if it goes to a game 3, it's going to go to the other place.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Might have traveled.
Yeah. See, I know what the state thinks. All the population, because I was down there.
Yeah.
The population, there's so many more people, and this, Central and South Florida, and they know there's less people in the Panhandle. So, do you want the majority of people mad at you, or do you want the the smaller amount upset?
Yeah, everybody else is going to be a half hour and 45 minutes, an hour away from each other.
We're not going to. We're never going to win that
4
fight.
hours away.
Yeah, we'll never win.
I want to say this. I think if, as a true baseball fan, taking out the logistics of traveling and all that, that's the way you want to play it, though, right?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, and there's got to be a little bit better way to do it.
Right.
I think I know they're always tweaking the classifications, but I think there's with the private schools and stuff, it's just these for a school like us. I think we're a little bit of an anomaly. I think Keystone Heights is another public school in the top 25 in 2A. It's just us, And I think last year, a couple of years ago, in this kind of district, maybe 1 or 2 public schools made it in the 32 team playoff. It's just there's something wrong with it. I think these at a certain number. I know 1A is all private schools, but those are like the really small ones, 200 and 300. But some of these private schools that have 700, 800, 900 students, it's a complete advantage for them over a public school with the same number. So we just for us and the players that we have in the team, we can compete. But for a lot of public schools like us, it's not the same. And it's I don't. It just is what it is. So, we're not crying or complaining about it. We've embraced it, obviously, and we've had a good year and put ourselves in position. But there's got to be a fairer way to do it.
What's the number of pitchers you really need to have to win a state championship now that you're having to play the best out of three?
Yeah, I mean, the way it is now, I'd imagine you need to have at least three, that's for sure. But, it's hard to go 7 innings anymore with these pitch counts,
True.
It's hard. So I would think in this, you better have at least 4 or 5 guys you can count on, especially if you're going to play 3 games,
Wow.
And you better get some length out of your starters. If you have one of those games where your starter doesn't go, like in game 1, you got a guy and he only goes a couple innings. You're going to be up against it moving forward.
Yeah.
What's that pitch
But that's
count?
why it's a team game. It's a team game. I say all the time, baseball's so different than every other sport because you don't play your best team every single day. You don't throw your best pitcher every game. So your best team isn't necessarily on the field all the time. Where in every other sport, you're going to be softball, baseball, softball, football, basketball. You're going to put your best team on the field every single time you play. But baseball's different, so you got to manage some stuff.
I think like a program like yours, Mosley, and some of these other schools, you all have experienced the travel. And if you go over there, say Jacksonville, wherever you go, and you got to stay more than one night, high school kids sometimes can do things crazy and lose focus.
Absolutely.
And you guys you've got experience in this, so I think that kind of helps you guys. That's the reason I like during spring break, they travel and they kind of get used to that stuff.
Get
That's why we do it.
What's the pitch
That's why we
count?
travel every spring break, so we can get used to these things.
What's the pitch count where maybe you throw your pitcher game 1 where he couldn't pitch game 2? What's that number? Because maybe if you get up 6-0, you might say, "Hey, let me reserve this guy because we may have a game 2 or 3 in the next couple nights." So what is that number?
30 pitches is the cutoff to be able to pitch the next day. If you throw more than 30, you can't pitch the next day. 45 pitches is the cutoff where you'd have to have a day's rest. So if you threw 45 pitches, you'd have to have 1 day off.
Okay.
Wow. And so you're watching.
But 30.
You're watching.
Throw 30.
You can throw 30
strikes. Pitches every day.
Yeah.
You can throw 30 pitches every day. And that's not necessarily good for you either, but.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen kids throw that at 1 inning or half an inning. So is Jeff.
That's what we try to do. Or that's what we try to get the other pitcher to do.
Bingo. Right. Obviously you'll find out who you're going to play today at noon. The FHSA has their own YouTube channel, and so I know anyone can get online, not only for Bozeman, but for any team in the district will be that selection show. Are you guys having a watch party with, I know it's kind of unique with everybody being out of school today. I don't know if you guys had anything planned to find out and watch that to see who you play and win.
Yeah, we're going to practice at 10 today, so we're going to go ahead and get an early practice in, and then give these boys the rest of the day. So we'll be on the field when that's kind of going on. So I'm sure we'll have somebody peeking at it, and when once we know, we may take a break, talk about it, and then get back to work. But no, we're not doing a party or anything like that. If we didn't think we were in, if we weren't sure if we were in, we might, but. We know we're in. We know we're going to host, so we're going to get our work in. And obviously, you know how it is, Steve. When you're hosting these games, you got to make sure the field and the outside of the field, everything's good. So there's a lot of work to be done between now and Monday. So
what is Arnold doing?
That's kind of what we'll be doing.
Same thing as Jeff just mentioned. They're having early morning practice while it's still relatively cool, and then giving the boys off the rest of the afternoon since it is a day off. But it's exciting, and you guys have been on the cusp of a state title, golly, multiple times. And good luck this year. Hopefully this is year you make that step and bring home the big title, the big trophy, so to speak. That'd be great.
Coach, what day? I hate even asking this, but I want to. I asked Steve earlier for Arnold, but what day would it be you guys would be down at Fort Myers if you make it there?
I think it's like May 20th for us. May 19th. Would it be the same time?
Will all of them be done at the same time?
Pretty close.
I'm not sure who we match up with. I don't know who 2A matches up with.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Two groups down there. We're the last one. Actually, 2A is like the very last championship game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's that third week, give or take, either the second or third week in May.
And they use that same field.
Hammond. It's a minor league ballpark down there in Fort Myers, and so it's boy, it sure would be neat. It'd be great to if all the local teams can make it. That'd be a heck of a picture. Take a picture of everybody together down in Fort Myers.
It could happen. We got a shot.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. And I'll tell you this much. Coach knows this already, but as a school board chair, I know if indeed any of our teams make it down there, that the district will at least pick up transportation costs.
Oh, good.
For sure. Good. And so the last thing you want to do is penalize a team team, that it might be cost prohibitive. And Jeff will tell you, transportation is not cheap. These buses, man, I got in the wrong business.
Yeah. We spent $3,000 this week going to Pensacola Catholic on charter buses. And you can't rent vans. There's no vans available where we are.
Well, we're going to help every way we can. Any way we can help you, we're going to definitely do that. Coach, thank you for coming on. Good. Congratulations again. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Good luck, appreciate you, man.
See you, Coach.
Hey, if you get any type of injury, talking about all these sporting events, any type of injury, Chad Mitchell, legendary doctor, this will be his 26 years giving up his weekends supporting Bay County. Unbelievable. He's a legendary doctor. One of the first ones trained robotic surgery. People come from all around to have him operate on him. The guy is incredible. Call, make an appointment. Chad will see. He'll see a Wildcat. You can have a body like that, and he'll try to fix that up.
Tried.
Now listen, it's going to get hot. We got Stevenson air conditioning, so we don't care. Get it serviced about every 6 months. It's going to last longer. It's going to save you in your power bill. Stevenson air conditioning, #1, not even close. Locals taking care of locals. Graduated from Mosey High School, family run. They do an incredible job. Stevenson air conditioning, #1. Steve's Bike Shop. They've been in Bay County, serving Bay County since 1979. 1924 South 23rd Street, right across from Sam's. And these electrical bikes everybody loves, they got a large selection of those. They work on them. They got their old-fashioned bikes. They can do it all. Steve's Bike Shop. And he's a youth coach, swim team, does a great job. Love Steve. All right, we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter. Then at 12:40 and 5:40, listen for your name to be called. If we announce your name, race to the phones. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The two fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to the Jack Links 500 from PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Panama City Toyota, and your racing station. ESPN Northwest
This is
Florida.
Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. Tonight, slight fog and clear skies with lows around 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a light breeze and a temperature near 79. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 78 and partly cloudy. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
I'd like to introduce.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
Milk was a bad choice.
If I could just have your attention.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
If anyone wants to switch jobs, let me know.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
I have many leather-bound books.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Man, I tell you what, we're really proud. Steve, I know you are, the school board members. Jerry Rester, really into athletics. We and him talk about your boy quite a bit. Pitching, we're talking about these. How's Coop? He's gone through the whole year. He's been pitching now 4 years. We're going to have to play 3 games. How's he physically? He okay? Him and Blair, they feel pretty good about it?
That's our 1-2 punch. Matter of fact, both of them, as you know, are University of Florida commits. And the Florida pitching coach was there last night to watch. Both of them played. Eli started the district championship.
Florida's University of Florida's pitching coach.
Florida's pitching coach was there to watch them. I guess Florida plays Mississippi State this week, and so he was on his way up to Starkville and stopped, and he knew Eli and Cooper were both going to pitch. Eli started, Cooper closed, and they did well, both Eli and Cooper, and that probably carried us to the district championship last night. So, I saw him down there and talked to him a little bit. Coach Kopp is his name, David Kopp, really good guy. And of course, as soon as I saw him, I prayed, Lord, if there's ever a good game for Cooper to have a good game, this is it.
Right.
When your position coach from the school you're going to go to next year is in attendance. And him and Eli both did really well. But to your point, Cooper started throwing in the low 90s when he was probably a sophomore. And I never forget, we were watching a White Sox game on TV, and their starting pitcher, his four-seam fastball was 92 miles an hour. And I looked at Cooper and I said, you're a sophomore in high school, and you're throwing it as hard as he is, and he's a grown man. And so I think it put into perspective how important arm carry is. Yeah. And now Cooper, last night, he was 91, 94, velo-wise. And so what has helped, and Jason will appreciate this, he lives in the weight room.
Oh, yeah. I knew that.
And that has made all the difference in arm care. I mean, he's 6'3", 220. And so I think just building up the muscle mass and all the connecting tissue around that, knock on wood, he hasn't had an arm injury the 4 years. And again, he's throwing low 90s, a slider, a split, a curveball. And so I think the reason people ask, why, golly, there was so many people being injured. How has Cooper been able to stay healthy? And I tell him it's the weight room. It's getting stronger,
that's
more
across
physically.
the board, every sport. I believe it.
Yeah.
We got a phone call.
Swimmer, football player, baseball player. Now, there's different types of workouts for different types of flexibility and speed and stuff like that. But being in the weight room is the most important thing you can do.
Let's take this call. Good morning.
To prevent injuries.
Yeah.
Good morning, Coach. It's Cincy Chris. I haven't talked to you in a while.
What's up, big guy? How you doing? How's your dad doing?
Doing good, doing real good. Just being able to start. Well, he had a Bearcat Open a couple weekends ago, but it was in the 30s, so he went to the hole 19 after 9 holes. So.
I met him down at the Cajun place one time, and he still looks like he can play. How old is he?
He is 71, 72.
He looks good. I mean, he really looks good. Yeah.
Well, ever since he got the knees replaced, he's lost some pounds.
Well, you tell him I asked about him. You tell him I asked about him. What's going on? What do you got for us today?
Well, the one thing I want to touch on that some people don't realize is that when you start playing, I made it to regionals and a couple different baseball games, but when you start getting into these upper-level playoff baseball games, the dimensions of the fields change, and people don't realize that. A lot of high school fields are about 370 to center straight away. Some of them are crazy. But when you start getting into the college teams and the minor league ballparks, they start going to about 390, 400 straightaway center, and the fence raises up. So when this is for, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who the third gentleman is.
Mr. Moss.
But,
Steve Moss.
Mr. Moss.
Yeah.
When do you start playing the neutral site games on the college ballparks for the playoffs?
Literally the Final Four. So everything will be played at a regular high school, which are mainly 310, 315 down the line. But you're right. Eventually, the Final Four is going to be at Hammond Stadium. I believe that's the Twins. Low A affiliate is down there, and I think it's 330 down the line. So you're right. The bigger fields, it's definitely advantage pitcher for sure. Especially if you have one in the gap, it'll go forever. But not till the Final Four. Until then, everyone's playing on their individual high school fields.
That's good. Back in 2004, the year I graduated, Jason will know this. Bell Fountain, that's where Tavian St. Clair's from. They my high school, they made the Final Four, and they're playing Walsh Jesuit. And our best hitter, who went to play for Kent State made a College World Series back in the early 2010s. He hit a ball straight away center in Clipper Stadium, where the George Steinbrenner Field. If it was a high school field, it would have been a grand slam, but the guy caught it on the warning track at 390. So it's one of those things where people don't realize that these high school kids, well, some of them, I'm sure Cooper can hit it 400, but not a lot of other people can hit the ball 400 feet as a high schooler. It's
tough.
It's just real tough once you get down there, because the football fields don't change, basketball courts don't change, tennis courts don't change. but baseball fields do, and it's just I don't think people realize that as much. That it's
that's a good point you're making.
Definitely a good point, because as a hitter, you have a different approach at the plate. I mean, when you know you're not going to be able to hit it out, you're trying to drive the ball into the gaps or just trying to get the ball in play. And it's a mindset too. I mean, when you're looking out, you're thinking, man, that's 400 feet. That's a different mindset when you're at the plate. You get a little nervous. You're like, oh, okay. So, but it's a different type of game down there, and I think they should bring in the temporary fences and make it the dimensions of the fields they've been playing on all year. That's just my opinion, though.
Now, I would be against that because my son's a pitcher.
Right.
Make the field as big as you can to keep it in the ballpark.
He's going to get there one day anyway. So.
Yeah, speaking of that, go ahead. We'll finish up with you. Go ahead.
Well, the one thing I was going to say was just talking about how you talk about Georgia does it right with football. Back in 1994, the two best teams in the state were playing in northern Marietta, where I lived. It was Sprayberry versus Lassiter High School. It was a best 2 out of 3 for the state championship, and they allowed them, since the high schools were 1.5 miles away from each other, they allowed the championship series to be played on their home field for the state championship.
Wow.
Which, back in the early 90s, Coach, I mean, we're talking about 30 years later, Florida's letting people do best 2 out of 3. So it's just kind of crazy, But anyways, go on with what you were saying.
No, I don't think they'll ever do that here. They make so much money with the bids that host those games. So I don't see the state giving that up.
You had playing Holmes County, like 6 hours away from each other for the state championship?
Down in Fort Myers.
Yeah, and how far away are they from each other? An hour and a half, maybe? An hour?
Yeah. We worked with my last year coaching. We worked the state championship games down there in Fort Myers, and it was Chipley playing somebody too closer to them than down there. But I tell you what, I think the kids enjoy it. I think they like going in there and seeing that stadium and doing all that. I do. It's a big deal.
Getting dressed out in those locker rooms is a big deal. Like playing in an actual dugout is a big deal.
But you know what they miss out on, though? You know what they really miss? When we went, the biggest crowd I've ever seen at a high school baseball game was Arnold and South Walton.
Yeah.
And it was at Publix Park. We would have a crowd like that if we played a state championship here in Bay County.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
And you wouldn't have that crowd down in South Florida. You'd have some of the families come down there, and you'd have other teams,
but
parents,
the kids can't come. But
But the guys that the students, they're just not going to be able to make those type of games. So
how many people are bringing grills in their trucks and having tailgates out there? Just a whole awesome experience. It's just it's real cool once you Ole Miss. Back in the day, before they built up Ole Miss has an amazing field. If you ever get a chance to go there, their right field is decked out. They've got grills out there in place that people can cook out on.
Mississippi State's the same way. It's big. It's baseball's big in the South.
Well, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and LSU always lead the every year in home attendance.
Yeah, of course, the best school there is Southern Mississippi. Southern Mississippi is the best baseball school out of those.
Mississippi's a great baseball state.
Yeah, it really is.
3 top 25 teams in that state. I mean, that's
a little bitty tiny state.
Yeah,
the high school baseball there, the coaches there,
bitty tiny uneducated state.
Baseball's a smart
I'm kidding.
Sport, right?
Talking about Mississippi.
Hey, listen, I hate to do it. We got to take a break. We got Jeff Spiegel coming on here in a second. Thanks for the call, man. Tell you you're good. Hopefully, I'll see you soon somewhere in Bay Point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Hey, it's great talking to y'all.
You too, buddy. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, sir. Real quick before the break, and maybe you don't even want to talk about it, but have you still thinking, are you going to pull a Tennessee quarterback deal? Or are you gonna, Coop, we ain't going there. I want more money. No.
Yeah, it's Cooper committed to play at the University of Florida between his 8th grade and 9th grade year, so he hadn't even started, honestly, high school baseball. And he has stayed with his commitment the entire time and signed in November, and the Florida stayed with their commitment. So he's been a Gator commit for 4 years. Now he's actually signed. He's official. He should report at end of June is when for Summer B is when all the baseball players down there. Now, that being said, to your point, we've met with 17 different major league teams that have either come to our house or they've been at the games to watch Cooper pitch. And so just about every time he's pitched here locally and lately, there's been 4 or 5 scouts there, whether it's the Twins, Pirates, White Sox, Cubs, there's been a variety of teams there. And so the draft is in July. And so at that point, not only Cooper, but every high school player will have the opportunity to either get drafted out of high school if they're good enough, or honor their commitment and go to play college wherever they want to. And so we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to. But I'm not going to lie, it's exciting as a dad to look down there and you see 3 or 4 guys with Pirates or Twins logos or White Sox logo, and they're there to see your kid play. Yeah, so it's been a neat opportunity. There's been a lot of area scouts we met with and a few cross checkers as well. So we'll cross that bridge in July when the draft comes here. I think Cooper's pretty committed to being a Gator. He's wanted to play the University of Florida since he was 5 years old. Yeah. But that being said, I think you have to do your homework and due diligence to see if a team wants him bad enough, then you got to make it worth your while. So I think he'll be a Gator, but we'll see.
Is the feedback just mainly for him to be a pitcher in the major leagues? Because I've seen him hit, and he can hit to all fields, and that's a really, great skill. Because I think he could hit in the major leagues.
What's Florida going to do? They going to let him hit?
So Florida has said, if you come here to Gainesville, we want you to be a two-way player. We want you to pitch and hit. I mean, right now he's Arnold's all-time leader in home runs, doubles, hits. He likes to swing the bat. Right. Florida will allow him to do both, and they encourage it. If he does get drafted, it's as a pitcher only.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll skip the commercials, and we'll have Jess Beagle on when we get back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. Tonight, slight fog and clear skies with lows around 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a light breeze and a temperature near 79. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 78 and partly cloudy. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Known for its crispy chicken tenders, flavorful wings, and generous portions, Lickin' Chicken has become a local favorite. Lickin' Chicken's commitment to quality and bold flavors keeps customers coming back for more. One satisfied patron shared on Facebook.
First time at Lickin' Chicken, and I'll return often. Man, them lemon pepper and garlic parm wings were amazing. My daughter and I devoured them. They don't short you on the fries either.
Lickin' Chicken, 1320 North Tyndall Parkway.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Bonafide and qualified.
Live and local from the J. Michael Studio.
Certified.
From the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Alabama Update, brought to you by Stevenson Air Conditioning. They're there for you anytime, day or night. Locals taking care of locals. That is Stevenson Air Conditioning. Let's bring him on, the legendary Jeff Spiegel, out of the great city of Birmingham, Alabama, SEC, ESPN, the legendary Jeff. Good morning, sir.
Coach, what's up? How are you?
Man, we are doing great. We getting pumped up. We're kind of sad, really. It's Good Friday and everything happened right down the road from us in Tallahassee. We have so many kids that go to Florida State, and everybody was freaking out here like, if you got a kid up there, you're worried if they're okay. And that's only, that's on your mind a little bit, kind of down a little bit about that. But it's Good Friday. We got to turn this negative to a positive, the setback to a comeback, and something good hopefully come out of all of it. But it's terrible right now. All right, let's get into sports. Alabama Crimson Tide baseball team. I'm trying hard, really hard behind the scenes to get this young pitcher in Arnold High School, 2 of them, to change their commitment from Florida to Alabama. But it's not working. It's not. I got the dad in here today. He said it ain't going to happen. So anyway, I tried. I did my best. But LSU kind of put it on them yesterday, buddy.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, Alabama jumped out to a big lead. I mean, well, I say big. They were up 5-1. And things were looking pretty good. And then the 6th and 7th innings happened. And Alabama had a controversial, called third strike. Wow, the pitch looked incredibly low to me. And the first base coach just went ballistic and got thrown out of the game. And then, that seemed to fire up the LSU crowd. And when the LSU crowd gets fired up, the LSU team gets fired up. I've been to several games at Alex Box Stadium. I don't know of a more intimidating atmosphere for a college baseball game. And I know, Starkville's got a great place to play baseball. But by that Alex Box Stadium, when those fans get into it, and then the players feed off of that, the momentum is just really hard to for a team to overcome. And so, LSU scored 10 runs in a row, hit a couple of bombs, and then that sucker was over.
I'm going to, because their baseball team, 1 minute I'm thinking that, hey, we got it going in the next game. I just don't know yet about them. We're ranked pretty good, pretty well, but how good's this team? Are they overranked? Are they where they should be, or what?
Well, I think they're probably where they should be. I mean, I think they're a top 25 team. I don't think they're a top 10 or top 5 team, by any stretch of the imagination. Their offense has kind of disappeared. I mean, at one point, a couple of weeks ago, and Rob Vaughn said this himself, it was elite. LeBron was just knocking the cover off the baseball, and guys were feeding off of each other when it came to that. And then last night, they hit 3 homers. Cade Snell hit a couple of bombs, and Bonamalo has been, terrific. But I don't know. It's just that the league is so good that you just have to bring your absolute best every game you play. But you can't lose series at home. I mean, you cannot lose series at home. And State came in and took 2 of 3 from them, and they've been run ruled a couple of times this season, which is kind of embarrassing. Which leads you to kind of shake your head a little bit if you're a fan.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, talking about difficult. What about softball? And I was really surprised that Bama beat Oklahoma 2 out of 3 in softball. Our softball's unbelievable. Oklahoma, Texas, baseball's unbelievable. Softball's the same thing. What did you think about that big win over Oklahoma?
Well, there's a freshman on that team, Audrey Vandegrift, who is a superstar in the making. I mean, she hit the walk-off homer. She's incredibly fast on the bases, and just a terrific hitter as well. Yesterday, she had a 3-run double in the first inning that capped off a 7-run burst. And you're playing a top 10 team on the road, and you score 7 runs in the first inning in the first game of a 3-game series. I mean, what kind of a message does that send? So that win over Oklahoma, that series win over Oklahoma, who knows? what that will propel Alabama to. It may take them all the way to a national championship.
That would be incredible, because I thought this was going to be a down year. I want to hit football now. Alabama Crimson Tide. The one good thing, tell me if I'm wrong, because I've been looking. I haven't seen anything. One good thing, I believe, I don't see anybody leaving. I don't see anybody transferring out. Is that still happening? Or I know they got some more time to do it, but so far I haven't heard or seen anything where a Bama guy has left.
I mean, at age 25, that might change, but you know the way this goes. But as of right now, I mean, everybody's in. Everybody's secure. Coach DeBoer was in Mobile last night, and he was talking about Austin Mack and raving about him and how he's done. And so I think everybody's for right now is just committed to getting this thing back in the playoff, getting this program back in the national title contention. But gosh, that could change within like a 3 or 4 hour period, the way this portal works and NIL offers go and all that stuff. But right now, everybody's in the fold.
It's crazy. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, all of them, they don't want to lose one of these quarterbacks, so they're very careful what they say. They'll say one day something positive about one kid, the next day they're going to focus on somebody else. I get it. You don't want to lose them. And I don't think they're going to name a starting quarterback until August. But Grubbs did a good job, the offensive coordinator. I appreciate what he said. He was honest, straightforward, and said, if we started the game tomorrow, this is who the quarterback would be. I like that he said that. I don't know, DeBoer probably might want to strangle him for saying that. But surely the kids know. I mean, they're at practice every day. They can see it. They got to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those guys go to meetings every day, and I guarantee you that they know where they stand at this point, and they know what they need to do to get to where they want to be. And I'm sure, before that they met the media Monday, that DeBoer and Grubb and Womack huddled up and, made sure that there wasn't a bad message that was put out there. So I'm sure what Grubb said was with DeBoer's blessing.
All right, I want to ask you about the Tennessee situation. I like what Urban said. He said they're really screwed. And I don't know. I respect him. He's won 2 national championships at Florida, and he turned Ohio State into a superpower. They turned him into an SEC school up there, talent-wise, speed, size. I kind of get what he was talking about. Said really what he was what I thought he was saying. Like, you knew you had a problem. You knew. And you could have got a quarterback earlier. The first time they had opened everything up, they didn't. They wanted to make sure the kid was happy and keep him there. And then he wants more money, and you say, no way, hit the road. Was that really the smart thing to do? I like what the coach did, but when they're playing Florida, when they're playing Georgia, they're playing Alabama, and they're getting beat because they can't move the ball down the field, how many of those boosters are going to care what happened then? It's all about winning. And what's your take on the Tennessee situation?
Well, I mean, I hear people squawking about, how he had a deal, and $2.4 million. I mean, he had a deal. But at the same time, coaches renegotiate their deals all the time after big years. And this guy led his team to a college football playoff. So, maybe his dad had every right to go in there and say, hey, we need more money. $2.4 million is not going to be enough. I mean, my kid took your team to the college football playoff, and we need more money. So when coaches come out and they criticize a player, for doing that, it kind of falls on deaf ears to me, because coaches do this all the time. After a big year, their contracts are renegotiated. And I know they got buyouts and all that stuff, but this is kind of the age we live in, and this is not going to be the first holdout and walkout, that we're going to see in college football.
I think the sticky part about this is if you do pay them that more money, now everybody in that locker room is going to be asking, their agents are going to be calling. So I just think Tennessee was put in a tremendously bad situation where it was a no-win. We either are going to have to go down this road, and everybody
should have known. They should have prepared.
He was going to sit out the playoff game against Ohio State.
That's what Urban was saying. No,
I agreed with what Urban said. Urban's about talent. Talent wins football games, not the coaches. I mean, you have to recruit. You have to have elite talent to win, and he thought they should win. A guy to portal quarterback when that situation happened, and I agree with him. But the situation as is, I don't think they made the mistake of letting him walk, because if you reset the market for him,
somebody else.
Everybody in the locker room is going to want more money, and then the locker room just implodes.
Well, I'll tell you this too: he's not going to get $4 million anywhere.
No, he lost money.
He's not a $4 million quarterback, in my opinion. He's not a $1 million quarterback.
Yeah, I said this the other day. Will Howard made $900,000. He made $2.4 million, and I would have taken Will Howard over him any day and every day of the week.
He won a national championship.
Yeah, just competitive.
All right, we got to take a break. Jeff, we're going to hold you over to talk about the Auburn Tigers. I do want to talk to you when we get back about somebody that I really respect, and I thought he was an unbelievable coach. Passed away, Bill Oliver. I want to get hit on that. He coached at Auburn and Alabama. But let's take a break right now. Jason, Max Fit Sports Nutrition, where are you located? And give us a little rundown of what's going on down there.
We're on 23rd Street in the Del Coronado Village. I'll be down there like 2:30 to 4 today. If you want to come in, do our InBody. We have a free sample bar at both our locations, so you can come in, try our proteins, try our pre-workouts, vitamins. We got greens. We got joint support. We have a certified sports nutrition on staff, so if you need that kind of guidance to kind of help you, lose weight or build muscle, we can help you with that. But we're also in Pier Park North next to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Turf Pro Pest Control. You want that yard to look absolutely beautiful? Patrick can make it happen. Listen to him every Monday right here, 8:30 on ESPN Northwest Florida. The guy's incredible. Also, if you got bugs, you got problems in the house, they take care of that also. Turf Pro Pest Control, #1, not even close. I want to thank Stevenson Air Conditioning for the Alabama update. Get it serviced every 6 months. It's going to save you money. It's going to last longer. Stevenson Air Conditioning, locals taking care of locals throughout the Panhandle of Florida. That is Stevenson Air Conditioning. J. Michael's Restaurant, Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Go, and you're out there. Where are you going to go after that?
You can go to David Adamson Designer Jewelry, Highway 77 in Lynn Haven.
We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, here's your code word for the day. Your code word for the day. Text this code word to 850-215-6290. Listen to the Inside Drive and then the Afternoon Underdogs to find out if they call your name. If they call your name, you call as quickly as you can, and that will get you qualified to win 2 sets of tickets to the Jack Links 500 in Talladega, April 27th. Your code word, text this now to 850-215-6290. The code word is 500, 500. Do it now.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
I was a bench warmer. No, but you can.
He was left out.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I was.
Yes.
No, actually, it happens. You are crazy, but
Weekday mornings 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. Tonight, slight fog and clear skies with lows around 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a light breeze and a temperature near 79. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 78 and partly cloudy. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red broils, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Want to know the inside scoop on your favorite teams? From the gridiron to the hardwood to the diamond. For comprehensive sports coverage, it's ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
Eagle! Hey, get out to Beef Over Braised Lynn Haven. Have a great meal today. Tell Patrick we sent you. Pat Perno, the city commissioner of Lynn Haven, owns Beef Over Braised Lynn Haven. He does an incredible job. I love the way they treat you there. The food's great. Don't forget Wednesday, 10 wings inside for $9.99. All right, we got Jeff with us. Jeff, I want to ask you, Bill Oliver, I thought he was a great coach, a great player at the University of Alabama, played with Coach Bryant, 1961 national championship team. The only coach I know of that played for the Bear and was one time the head football coach of the Auburn Tigers. Now, he was the interim head coach. I'll never forget, I was actually at the game, the national championship game versus Miami in New Orleans. We were down, matter of fact, we were living in Lee County at the time, in Cape Coral, Florida. But we went to the game, and I was sitting where the coach's family sit for the Miami Hurricanes. And I was supposed to be neutral, but I got excited. We were having a good time. And that game plan he had was incredible. When I saw 11 people across the field, I mean, on the line of scrimmage, I've never seen that before in college football, and they dominated them. I don't even think Miami scored an offensive touchdown that game, and their offense was outstanding that year. They had just won the national championship. They're going for 2 in a row. Alabama beat them like a drum. But Bill Oliver, and tell me what you thought about it. I don't know if you ever met him or what, but what's your thoughts on Bill Oliver?
He was, first of all, just an amazing coach. I mean, I don't know if there are halls of fame for assistant coaches, but he would be first ballot because he was just so good. And that Sugar Bowl, you know, if you ask 10 people, if you ask 10 people that week, I mean, and I would think even Alabama fans, if you honestly ask them if they had a chance to beat the Miami Hurricanes that day, you'd find several of them that would tell you no.
Yeah.
But he devised a game plan. He befuddled Gino. He cost Gino Torretta like many draft spots in the NFL draft because he made him look so bad in that game. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. But he could be kind of prickly to deal with. I dealt with him at some press conferences when he was the interim head coach. So you had to be careful what question you asked him because he could make you, look kind of silly because he loved just kind of needling you and playing with you like that. But I thought he was a terrific guy and just a great coach and, really loved him.
I don't know what Coach Bryant thought about him going to Auburn. Remember, I think, Coach Bryant was still coaching, I think, at one time when he went there. And I think he hired him away from him. I can't remember.
He did. He absolutely did. Yeah. He was the head coach at Chattanooga, for a little while.
Did a good job there. So, really good job.
Yeah. So 33 years of just incredible service to the sport and, held in high regard by his peers.
Yeah, it made me think about Coach Dye when he was at Alabama those 9 years and then went to East Carolina. We played them. And when we were at Southern Mississippi, we actually played them at East Carolina. And I'm telling you right now, that's one of the better coach teams. They beat us pretty bad. And that Wishbone was something else. They were physical. They were coached really well. I knew that guy was going to do things. Goes out to, I think it was a Wyoming for 1 year and turned that around. Then he went to Auburn. But they said that, I read his book, he said Coach Bryant talked to him, called him and said, what's this BS about you going to Auburn? He goes, Coach, I don't know yet, and he goes, well, you ain't going to Auburn. I ain't got much longer to go here. And And he goes, and Coach Dye goes, I knew good and well they're not going to hire me to Alabama to follow him. But what do you think Coach Bryant thought about him going to Auburn? I mean, obviously got over it.
Yeah. Oh, Coach Dye going to Auburn?
Yeah, when that happened.
I think I think he was probably not happy about it. But at the same time, though, happy and proud, that he got the opportunity. But, certainly not very happy that, Dye beat him in 1982 for sure.
Yeah. All right, I want to ask about Auburn football. They've had some guys transfer out like other schools have. Some of them are leaving because they can't play. It was the offensive lineman that left, and it just went right out of my mind his name. He was a good player. He left. That kind of surprised me. What are you hearing about Auburn? I know this for a fact. I tell everybody, I know he's recruited really well. He's got people transfer in there. They've got players. They're ready to go. But if he doesn't win this year, I truly believe they'll get rid of him. That's one job, Alabama and Auburn. You've got to win. They've already had 2 losing seasons. You can't survive 3. I don't believe at either one of those schools. And there's no excuses. They've got good players now. What are you hearing about Auburn?
Well, and they are kind of holding their breath during the portal. And one thing that Auburn's been able to lean on is they bragged a lot about their NIL collective, and they were kind of ahead of the curve, for a while. And so, he's recruited well. And his main thing is he's just got to hold on to those guys. And he took Jackson Arnold, and that's kind of I'm not going to say that was a high-risk move. I think there are probably Auburn folks out there who are kind of cautiously optimistic that this will work. But at the same time, they see that Arnold got benched last year at Oklahoma. So that's a move that really, really needs to pay off for Hugh Freeze this year, or it's going to end up in him losing his job.
Yeah. I think the offensive lineman kid, I think it was Joyner, 6'2", 315. He started, I think, the 5th game. After that, he started every game that year. He was a freshman. I want to say he was a freshman. And I think he's going to transfer out. He has 3 years eligibility left. That surprised because I think their offensive line's pretty good. Now, they got a defensive lineman there. It's really good. I can't remember the name, but everybody knows his name after this year. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be really good. Oh, I wanted to ask you this. I meant to ask you this because Jason and I talked about this earlier this week. He came out and said, Hugh Freeze came out and said, look, staff, we're talking, and we all know he'll make the final decision, and I think he should do it. But he didn't know if they're going to go after another quarterback, a big defensive lineman, or a linebacker. And all the problems they've had at quarterback, to me, you got to go get a quarterback. But when you do that, you upset the 2 you have on there that you're depending on. The true freshman Mississippi, he's going to be really good, but he's still young. He's really young. And the kid from Oklahoma, what do you think he's going to do? I think he's going to get a quarterback, but I don't know what's out there. I don't see anything exciting to me out there as a quarterback.
Tennessee's in the market too.
Yeah.
Well, they've got another transfer coming in from Stanford in the fall.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, to me, you need to. The offensive line has been an issue for years.
Yeah.
At Auburn, even in the final year of Gus. So I mean, they've really got to get that squared away because I don't care how much faster Jackson Arnold is, than Peyton Thorne. But he's probably considerably faster. But if you don't protect your quarterback, it doesn't matter how fast he is. I mean, you're not going to win enough games to compete in the league.
Yeah, and you know what you just said made me just think about. I just got through reporting about that offensive lineman transferring out. So that you might hit that on the head right there.
It makes me nervous that they're talking about a portal quarterback because, like he said, they got another quarterback coming into the fall. And if Jackson Arnold's not your guy, I feel really nervous for Auburn next year because that's who they thought was going to be the stud that comes in. They got wide receivers everywhere. I think their offensive line is better, but defensively they should be really good with the way they've recruited the last 2 years, the portal they've had. I just that makes me a little nervous hearing that.
Yeah.
Jeff? Yeah, me too. And they played a lot of freshmen and sophomores on that defense last year.
Yeah.
and those guys, you know, are going to be a year better. So, you know, I feel good about their defense, but you know, yeah, it does worry you a little bit when you know, he's confident, you know, 1 minute, you know, about the quarterback, and then you hear about him trying to find another one. It kind of makes you wonder how confident he is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you this before we let you go today. SEC Media Days Day, it's going to be in Atlanta, College Hall of Fame. July 15th, Hugh Freeze will be the first one on the board to speak. What's your thoughts on it being moved back to the College Hall of Fame in Atlanta? I liked it in Hoover. What do you guys think? Where do you like it at? And give us a little rundown. You're going to be there, I'm sure.
Well, he wants to move it around the SEC footprint, you know, as much as he can. Shanky does, and I don't see it coming back to Hoover on a regular basis. I don't know. Atlanta's a great place for it. I went there 2 or 3 years ago when it was there, and that's an awesome place for it. Kind of a difficult layout, you know, from a media perspective, but you know, the thing that strikes me when I looked at the list, I go, there are no new guys this year. Usually there's some turnover, like there's at least one new coach, but all of the coaches coached last year, so I'm not sure when the last time that's happened, but that was a little unusual. So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. It's always good to, you know, to hear what the guys have to say, and you know, all the stuff, you know, Lane Kiffin brings to the table, but it should be entertaining.
Well, you know good and well, they'll probably have it in Dallas pretty soon, wouldn't you think?
I would think, yeah, and, you know, I mean, Nashville, you know, I mean...
Are they trying to stay out of New Orleans? They trying to stay alive or what? What's the deal with New Orleans?
No idea, but I mean, Atlanta's been a good market for them. They want to go where, you know, to the big cities, and just kind of showcase their league, and you know, Greg Sankey's a pretty smart guy, so I'm sure he's got a plan for several years down the road.
Well, I guarantee you, 2026 there'll be new guys. Maybe at Oklahoma, maybe at Arkansas, maybe at Auburn. Who knows? Maybe at Alabama. You never know.
Florida better do something this year.
Yeah. Hey, I really appreciate you coming on. We love you. We'll talk to you next Friday, okay?
Hey, y'all have a good Easter weekend. See you later.
You too. Bye, buddy. Thank you, sir. All right, let's talk about some of our great. You got anything you want to do? You good?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
I've given out the code word of the day, the last one of the week before we give away the big prize. So you're good to go.
I'm not on my game today. I'm struggling. I need to go to Steve's bike shop and get me one of those electrical bikes right across from Sam's. He does a great job.
Low impact exercise.
Real low. The local 115. Steve, you've been down to the local 115. We got to get a picture of Coop in there.
No, they've invited us, but have not. It's in the baseball season mode now, and so we're running 100 miles an hour. But
get the gumbo.
Gumbo?
The crab cakes and gumbo.
Chicken wings as well?
Everything.
Talking to the guru of gumbo.
I love their gumbo down there. It's really good.
The guru of food, actually.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah, I tried to get you to go with us yesterday.
No, you didn't. He said, please don't go.
I wasn't paying for yours.
That's why he said that.
Vandy Roofing and General Contracting. That is TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting. Kyle Vandergrift does an incredible job. They design it. They build it, commercial, residential. But if you want a new roof, go with Vandy Roofing. They do a great job. They do a wonderful job. Great family. Love those family. Great people. All right, we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straight away center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Known for its crispy chicken tenders, flavorful wings, and generous portions, Lickin' Chicken has become a local favorite. Lickin' Chicken's commitment to quality and bold flavors keeps customers coming back for more. One satisfied patron shared on Facebook.
First time at Lickin' Chicken, and I'll return often. Man, them lemon pepper and garlic parm wings were amazing. My daughter and I devoured them. They don't short you on the fries either.
Lickin' Chicken, 1320 North Tyndall Parkway.
Introducing the Peaceful Living Executive Planner and Daily Agenda, your faithful companion for 2025. Designed to help you navigate life with faith, gratitude, and intentionality, this planner will inspire, uplift, and guide you towards a peaceful and purpose-filled year. Get daily inspirational quotes and a peaceful word of the day, plus weekly challenges and monthly reflections, a vision board to map out your dreams, embrace peace and purpose every day with the Peaceful Living Executive Planner and Daily Agenda. Get yours now at FroyersMin.com.
Hey guys, Mother's Day is coming up on May 11th, but Beach House Florist lets you hit the easy button now for major wow factor. Mom will light up when she sees a thoughtful and unique gift from Beach House Florist, like lovely floral arrangements and gift baskets curated with gourmet delights. Beach House Florist in Panama City Beach, minutes from 38. Show Mom some love with Beach House Florist. Order at beachhouseflorist.com or call now, 850-249-5042. That's 850-249-5042.
He has a really low passenger rating on Uber. He punched a magician and started a petition to remove the penny from circulation.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael studio.
Is he sane? I have no idea.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back, 104.3. ESPN Northwest Florida. We got Steve Moss with us. Steve's got a son that's a stud, 4-year starter, holds all kind of records at Arnold High School, Coop. And we'll have him on here before everything's said and done. But I want to ask you something. A lot of people never experience it. A lot of people never experience this. But you guys have dealt with agents. We see what happened up at Tennessee. The father got involved in the wanting more money for the quarterback up at Tennessee, and now he's lost. The dad really cost the kid money, right or wrong. And, you know, when you tell somebody you're going to do something, we were always taught you do it. You get made a commitment. You stick through it. He had a contract, and some people argue that coaches have contracts. You can change it up. I'm like, if I had a contract, I'd tell my son, you already signed it. This is what it is. When the contract's over, we'll go from there. But you're going to have to deal with all this kind of stuff. How did you come about getting an agent? Who is your agent? And what are they telling you?
Boy, the college athletic landscape has changed dramatically. That is probably an understatement for sure. Talking to the coaches there at Florida, where my son is committed to play baseball next year, they said when it comes to recruiting, we first have to re-recruit our own players to make sure they're coming back and not jumping in the portal and this and that, which sounds bizarre, but we have to re-recruit our own players to see who's coming back. Then we go into the portal to see who's available portal that can play right now, and we can plug them in, especially if we have specific needs at a position. Then we look at the JUCO route, and then we look at high schoolers. So it is becoming harder and harder and harder for a high school standout to make an impact at a Division I school, because again, these coaches, if they need a player, they need a catcher, so to speak. You think they're going to get somebody out of high school that might be a stud catcher in high school, don't get me wrong, or one that's already played 2 or 3 years of college baseball at a high level that they can get and plug in immediately, where the high school player they probably have to develop. So you could argue it's not as much about as developing these high school players and getting them in the system, whether these college coaches want to win right now. And if they want to win right now, they're going to get the best players. And oftentimes these best players are the portal players that have played 2 or 3 years already. So Cooper knows that he's blessed to be able to have an opportunity to come in as a freshman and contribute, especially as a pitcher. I think Florida wants him to be a two-way. Coach O'Sullivan has said that to both hit and pitch, but primarily pitch. And so, but you have to be an absolute stud in high school to A, even set foot on a Division I campus, but B, if you really want significant playing time, because again, the portal has changed everything in regards to it's so much easier for these established players to jump ship and go to other schools.
And when you're that good, you're going to have to make a decision.
You are 100% right. And what Cooper and us will have to make a decision in July. That's when the draft is.
Now, go back to your agent. Who is your agent?
So Cooper's represented out of a group called Wasserman out of L.A. They represent a variety of different athletes, both obviously pro and those who want to be pro, along with George Strait and Kenny Chesney and a bunch of other entertainers as well. But you really lean on, they're called advisors while you're still in high school, and then eventually they will become your agent.
Okay.
But you lean on them a lot because they're the ones that will shop your son around to all the general managers to say, all right, Cooper throws 91-94, got a great splitter, a great slider. You know what I mean? He does this, he does that. And so then the teams, if they're interested, then they communicate more with your agent than the individual parents. And so you lean on them a lot.
How did you know about this group? How did you select this group? How did that process happen?
They came to us. They had heard of Cooper and had seen him. Most of the really good players, so to speak, on the prep circuit, they will be approached, if they're decent, they'll be approached by some type of agency out there that say, we want to represent you at the next level, either right now, hoping you might get drafted out of high school, or eventually when you go to college and after your junior year, we want to represent you then as well. So because of all the ranking systems, and there's more information now on the internet than everywhere, it's hard to surprise anybody if you're really talented. Not only do the colleges know the really talented players, but the agents know who are the really talented players as well. And they understand that it's in their best interest to identify these players early and to create relationships with them so that eventually when they do go pro out of high school or out of college. So this particular agency contacted us, honestly, when Cooper was in 9th grade.
Wow.
To start kind of creating this. And again, they're not called agents then, they're advisors. Mm-hmm. But these are folks that have been through the draft process, and you really lean on them a lot to say,
you
okay,
check them out before you
we did our homework, because there were several agencies that came to us and said, we'd like to represent your son Cooper, here's what we can do. And they all kind of sell themselves. But you ask questions, you do your homework, you do your due diligence of folks that have been there, done that. And you look at their track record. Hey, who are you? Is this your first rodeo? Or you tell us, who are you representing currently in the major league? And they said, well, we've got 3 dozen major leaguers that are playing right now that we represent. And these are big names. You go, well, maybe they know what they're doing. Right, and so we will lean on them a lot during the draft process come July.
Would they be involved in NIL negotiations, or is that handled by
Very much so. Okay. They do. Very much so. They do. And so it's, again, you lean on them a lot for not only NIL negotiations with an individual college, and it is what it is, whether you like it or not, that's part of it, or negotiations with a major league team that you might get drafted.
Nice. That's what you hear these coaches talking that I've known over the years, that they hate dealing with the agent. They hate dealing with certain family members. There's some uncle that out of the blue has got his opinion. And that's what's so tough about coaching right now, trying to work through all that.
I think Nico's situation kind of shined a light on what's wrong with when you don't have a legit agent, because when the dad's handling everything, he wants his piece of the pie, which rightfully, yes or no, and maybe deserves it, doesn't, but he's not putting his kid's interest first. He's just trying to get the most money out, where these guys have experience with negotiations, high-level baseball players, how the money works. A lot of these teams have budgets. If you're paying Nico $5 million, now you got to cut somebody else's money over here to fit that within the budget, or the
other guy wants more now.
Or the next quarterback that comes in, he's going to want more. So having an experienced agent, I think, is hugely important when you got a player of that caliber.
And what's this guy telling y'all now about the draft and everything? What are you hearing?
Good question. So A Perfect Game, they're a large scouting agency. They came up with a mock draft a couple of weeks ago of the top 400 players in the country, both college and high school, right? And take this with a grain of salt. It is what it is. They ranked my son Cooper 241 out of the 400. Again, this is college and high school students that might get drafted players. That would put Cooper, give or take, in the 4th or 5th round, if that indeed is accurate. And so every team every pick has a slot value, so to speak, or most of them have a slot value. So you sort of kind of know what you're getting into, what your signing bonus will be. Here's the kicker: if you're slotted for a certain way, now comes the negotiation part. Say your signing bonus is going to be, just throwing it out there, $300,000 or something. Then that is an opportunity for the college to come back and say, listen, we want you here on our campus, right? We understand that, just throwing it out there. The Pirates are going to give you $300,000. If you come to campus here and play college baseball, we'll give you, just throwing it out there, $75,000 a year over your 3 years here, or whatever it might be. So now you have a little bit of leverage, honestly, to say.
And a free ride.
For sure. sure. This is the first year coming up that baseball will be a full scholarship. It used to be you got a partial scholarship to play baseball. There are several sports like that. Baseball should be a full ride now. So the NIL. But in college, these athletes are free agents. Call them what they are. And so every year they're renegotiating. It sounds goofy to say they're renegotiating their contracts year to year because they're free agents. They're you call them student athletes, maybe sort of, kind of, but they're really free agents, and they're renegotiating their deal every year just like a pro athlete would. So it'll be interesting to see when the draft gets here in July if my son Cooper will go to Florida, which I think he will. He wants to be a Gator all of his life. But you'd be silly not to at least listen to some pro teams that say, we want to take him maybe higher than we anticipate.
Didn't they tell you that there'll be a point where there'll be a number?
There will. They ask you, they said, Mr. Moss, you and your family will have to come up with a number when it comes to the draft. And I said, well, what do you mean number? They said, when we start shopping your son around to all these different teams and all these different general managers, they will ask, what is your number? What's it going to take for your son Cooper to skip playing at the University of Florida and instead sign with us? And he said, that is with every high school player out there, and the numbers all over. For one player, it might be 200,000. For one player, it might be 2 million. So everybody's quote number is different in regards to how they value themselves. And then it'll be up to these individual teams to say, all right, Cooper is worth whatever that number is. If not, they'll pass on him and they'll go somebody.
Is there
place
still
else.
a rule where if you enroll in college, you have to be there 3 years now to
There
get
is.
drafted? Okay,
There is.
That's
And so
surprising to me. Somebody could sue the NCAA, probably do away with that immediately because they haven't won a court case in ever. It seems like.
Yeah, you're not drafted. If you go the Division I route, so to speak, you're not draft eligible till after your junior year or a certain age. Sometimes you can be a draft eligible sophomore, but usually it's after your junior year. The caveat is if you go junior college, play at Gulf Coast, Northwest Florida State, TCC, wherever it is, you can be draft eligible after just 1 or 2 years. So the going consensus is if say you got drafted but not high enough out of high school, maybe you go the JUCO route and you can get drafted again the next year. You don't have to go and be committed for a longer time at a D1.
In the old days, we had Pat Borders, and he has full ride to Mississippi State to play quarterback in baseball. Well, he skipped and went to and played professional baseball. And it was, I think in high school, I think we played him at first base. He made himself a catcher. And won the MVP of the World Series for the Blue Jays. But I think they paid him so much money that he had money put away that he could go pay for his college. I even think now they'll put that in a contract.
They do, and it is such an important. Every major league team that we've met with so far in this process had said, hey, do you know about the college clause? And we said, yeah, we do. Every major league team builds it in. If they draft a kid out of high school, the college clause says that they will pay up to 4 years of your college tuition if you go back to college.
Nice.
If you're a bust, God forbid it doesn't work out, you get injured or whatever, and your baseball career ends at the minor league level, you can go back to school. And usually it's the average tuition of whatever school you committed to over those 4 years. So it does give you a little bit of a safety net if you decide to go pro out of high school. It doesn't work out. You can go back to college, and that major league team will pay a portion of it to go back.
That's awesome.
El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, the best happy hour out there. Buy one, get one free. Small draft beer, margaritas. Last night went by there, and they had some great singers. Thursday night karaoke, they do a great job. I've seen you and Moss and you and Coop in there quite a bit.
Do they sing in Spanish, the karaoke, or English?
No, it's everything,
He
man.
does.
It's
Okay.
everything.
All right.
I can do it all.
Si,
I can do it all.
senor.
Yeah, I'm great. Anyway, get out there and have a great time. Don't forget the legendary Jay Michaels, the special today, Chris Fish, grilled fish over peppers, onions, special sauce they got there. It's really good. And it's actually healthy for you. The legendary Jay Michaels. Jason, Max Fit Sports Nutrition. We got all these parents out here. They got a kid, son, daughter, whatever, involved in sports. We're just talking about it. To get a scholarship now is almost it's almost impossible. It's not impossible. It's tough. They're going against college athletes now to get those scholarships. And you can help them get bigger, stronger, faster, what to eat, what not to eat. Talk about some of the things and where you're located.
So we're in the Del Coronado Village on 23rd Street and in Pier Park, north next to Dick's Sporting Goods. We have our InBody 570, so we've had a lot of football players, especially in the off-season, because this is when you really want to get the work in, put on the muscle. During the season, it's a lot harder because you're doing different types of training. So We have a certified sports nutritional staff that kind of guide you through what to eat, when to eat it. We also have our InBody that can help you track results and show you what what we need to change, what we can add to it as far as your meal plan. So you can come see us. We got a free sample bar. We got local discounts. We got our high school stack right now. It's 15% off our complete mass, our K4 creatine, and our Sport Formula multivitamin. If you're just trying to put on size naturally, no toxins, nothing that's going to cause you to pop on a test. It's a really good stack. We've been using it a lot. I know Coach Brown over at Bay High sent about 10, 15 kids over. We got a lot of kids from Mosley coming in. But coming in, utilize that InBody. It's really going to track skeletal muscle and percent body fat. When you're in the off season, you want to see how much muscle you're growing, and that allows us to add calories, tell you how much protein to eat, tell you what type of carbs to be eating. Because some of these kids, that are 15, 16, 17, they got to be at 5,000, 6,000 calories. And to do that and to eat that much food, it's really, really hard. And that's when some mass gainers and stuff like that can really help you out.
Get an edge. The best way to do it is go down and see Jason Kovaleski, 23rd Street, Pier Park. I've got to tell you the times. Local 115, they're going Wednesday through Sunday. It is truly the Bay County Hall of Fame. Go down there and look at the athletes down there. They're pictures of, if you played sports in Bay County, your pictures probably there, cheerleaders, band members. They got the 1966 Bay football roster up there. It's incredible. The local 115. We'll be right back.
Even high school coaches' pictures are down there.
Glenn's in the bathroom. Yeah. I put his in a special place in the men's restroom.
It's the second urinal from the left.
Yeah, it sure is. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And don't forget, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, the Atlanta Braves take on the Twins, and it's brought to you right here on ESPN 104.3 by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewlett Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing. That's the Atlanta Braves right here on ESPN.
The game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Line play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. Tonight, slight fog and clear skies with lows around 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a light breeze and a temperature near 79. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 78 and partly cloudy. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting is a fifth-generation contracting company based right here out of Bay County. TK Vandy's expertise in commercial and residential roofing, as well as a design-build general contractor, set them aside as a versatile and fresh alternative to achieve your construction needs. Contact TK Vandy Roofing, 850-866-9908, or email support@tkvandy.com. They can't wait to help you.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
The number one SEC call-in show is now twice as big. It's double the Paul Feinbaum Show. Weeknights starting at 6.
Okay, but also go faster.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Good Friday. We hope you guys have a great weekend and a super Easter. Jeremy Pridgeon is having services all day long down there. That guy's incredible. I love Jeremy.
Great guy.
Great man. I love him. I want to ask you both of your opinion on this. Retiring, we're talking about Hall of Fames and stuff like that. Colorado just retired. They just got through playing. I don't know if I like this or not. They just got through playing, and they weren't there 4 years. Sanders was there. Of course, he's a great player. He's Deion's boy, the quarterback, and then the Heisman Trophy winner. But the thing about it, they've not retired Tim Tebow's jersey at Florida or Danny Warfield's jersey there or anything. And for them to do it so quickly, how did that happen, and why did it happen so quickly?
Well, when Deion's your coach, and to me, it sounds like he's not going to be there that long, and he wants to recognize his son. And I get Travis Hunter.
You think he pushed it?
I think 100%, because to me, Shedeur, as great of a player as he was for them, is not worthy of a first-year, Hall of Fame induction for Colorado. If you look back at some of the national championship teams, I forget Cordell Stewart's not in there. There's a lot of ex-players coming out saying, hey, we're not saying that these guys don't belong, but they need to wait their turn, because there's guys from that 90s national championship team that are waiting their turn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pushback against this.
I don't think Emmitt Smith, is Emmitt's number retired?
I know Tebow for sure isn't. I don't know if the 22 at Florida is not it,
I don't know if Emmitt's not, something's wrong, but
there's a lot of alumni that push back on this, and it just seems like maybe he's not there for long and wants to get his son's name up in the rafters. Travis Hunter, you can understand. You win a Heisman,
But still, 1 year.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the ex-players are having a problem with it. There are a lot of guys on Twitter talking out about it. He's had a lot of support from the Colorado fan base and the alumni up until this point, but this is kind of that crossroads where people are kind of splitting on that one.
Steve, what do you think about it?
I was looking up his record. I read this the other day where I believe he was 1-8 in the Pac-10 or whatever that division he is, and it's to me, if they're going to retire your number, you have to have done something significant.
Yeah.
A Heisman Trophy, a national title.
Right.
Setting school records, something that puts you over the top. And again, you could argue, and it's hard to point to any significant milestones or numbers or accomplishments that Sanders has done at Colorado. Especially when, Colorado at one time was a premier program with Heisman Trophy winners.
They won a
and
national championship.
Yes, national titles.
They beat Michigan on that Hale Mary. That was a great play. I mean, Rashawn Salam's number.
Even if they did do it, I think they should wait at least 5 years.
I think they should definitely wait and let the community decide if that's who they want to. Travis Hunter, obviously, a generational talent, won the Heisman, so obviously. But like you're saying, these guys still wait their turn. Tim Tebow not being in the Hall of Fame. I mean, come on, who was better in college football?
Well, now I think he's in the Hall of Fame. It's just the retired
his number. Sorry,
He only won 2 national titles and a Heisman.
He's the most famous. He's the face of college football.
He was for 5, 6 years, 4 years.
To me, he's the best role model. Him and Danny were the best 2 role models out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could point to one significant milestone that Sanders did at Colorado, then I think you go, okay, here you go. Then so here's what I was looking at, Coach. Shedeur Sanders never won a bowl game while at Colorado and went 1-8 in the Pac-12 play his first 2 years at Colorado. So figure that out. 1-8 in Pac-12 play his first 2 years. Never won a bowl game.
And I think his overall record was 13-12.
To me, that's a bad look.
It was a bad look.
It is. And obviously the elephant in the room is your dad's the head coach. Come on, man.
They're trying to keep Daddy happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I get that.
Especially, I thought for sure Deion was maybe going to go to the Cowboys. I know they had talked about him being the next head coach there, and maybe he will one day. But maybe this. I don't know. Maybe Deion stays a little bit longer because they reached out and did him a favor. Again, it's Colorado's AD, I guess, or their leadership eventually. But you kind of go, man, I don't get it.
Right.
We only got 2 minutes left.
But that Florida State job opens. I don't think you see him at Colorado very long.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Interesting.
We will see. I would say that job could come open next year if he didn't have a good year, but he just signed that 10-year deal. So he's a good coach. I think he'll get it turned around.
He is, but I think they lost their mojo after that Georgia loss, and last year was such a disaster.
Got to be careful who you bring in.
They made a lot of changes on that staff. If it doesn't work out, you talk about Hugh Freeze. He's in the same boat for me right now, and I love Florida State. Florida State's kind of my second team. Love Bobby Bowden.
Steve, real quick, got about how's everything going at school, district, everything good?
It's going well. We're heading down the home stretch. We start our graduations basically in a month, the end of May.
I can't
And so we're heading down the home stretch. As a school board member, I get to go to 11 graduations. Doesn't that sound exciting? But that's the ROI, the return on our investment. Is when I get to go to these graduation ceremonies. I sit in the front row and wave as a school board member. But when they cross that stage and get that diploma, that's the return on our investment. When they get that diploma.
Real quick, you said something the school board pays for if they go to the state championship game or something?
That is correct. The school board, we do not want to penalize local teams if they make it to the Final Four, so we pick up the cost for transportation.
Good.
And sometimes for a bus, believe it or not, that's $8 to $10 grand.
Oh, my God.
But hey, that is money well spent.
30 seconds. Max Fifth Sports.
I'll be on 23rd Street today, 10 to 2:30. So if you want to come down and talk to me, you can. We got free sample bar. We're in Pier Park North and on 23rd Street in the Del Coronado Village.
Have a great Easter. We're out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega.
And now on the line with us, our second qualifier, Paul